Good afternoon and welcome to this Fellow Mind broadcast, where today we will focus on the present Microsoft Ignite 2024 from Chicago. Normally we have two hosts or two experts in the studio, but today it's different. My name is Lasse, and with me today I have two special guests from Chicago, my colleagues Henrik Kim, who is CTO here in Fellow Mind, and Pernille Bernd, who is AI Program Lead. Hello, Henrik and Pernille. Good to see you, and I'm crossing my fingers here in the studio that the technical parts of this broadcast will really work out well. I know you are very early out of bed this morning, since we have quite a bit of a time difference, but I'm so happy you're here, and I think everything works fine. First and foremost, how are you doing over there?
Doing great. Yes, you can say it's still early morning in Chicago. We were actually playing a bit with our background here, if we could be able to see that it's not a basement, it's on 20th floor actually. A bit funny is also that the weather has turned to much colder, so we're also seeing some snow. We can see that from pictures in Denmark as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, really busy also. So this is early up, but we've been up early almost every day, doing loads of sessions every day for, I don't know, 8 hours a day, labs sessions and so on. So it's been busy times.
Is there anything in particular you would like to highlight, or what is the most different experience, or have you been surprised by anything?
No, if anything, I think it's maybe not that surprising, but the major focus on AI is just everywhere, and it's to the level where some of the Microsoft people are starting to make fun of it. Almost. I was at a session yesterday, and he basically ended up saying, "And listen, I almost didn't talk about AI in this session." So that stands out, and we'll talk much more about it, but because it also makes sense. But I think that's I've never experienced something like that before. I joked a bit about it during the Satya Nadella keynote. He spoke about this, that everything started with Windows 3.1, I think it was, and that was the big announcement 30 years ago. Now we've arrived at, they got a new Windows Server version, but it's just a side note, kind of. By the way.
Yeah.
So,
and you, Pernille, is it your Ignite debut? Like,
yeah, exactly.
On premise or
Yeah. So
does
it's my
first
Ignite. So everything is obviously new. So I don't know that I've ever talked about Windows servers. So for me, it's just like, wait, they just talk about AI. That's all I get, and that's all I want, basically. So everywhere I go, in every session, even if I just drop into a session, they talk about a topic that is great from my point of view, but I can obviously see that it's a bit maybe overwhelming. It's every session, it's everywhere completely, and that's good. But also I know that some of our colleagues also have like a different perspective on things. They want to see a lot of another deep dive in a technical kind of way, not only about AI, because that's where the deep dive is currently, but yeah, as a first timer, I'm enjoying myself for sure. It's like
just like
this program just for me, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
We always talk about technology, platforms, features, but like before we delve into that, have you seen parts of Chicago? It's kind of in the middle of the US, or slightly to the
east,
east, but yeah.
Yeah, we actually managed for most of us flew in on Saturday, so that did leave the Sunday to both, do the first adjustments to the new time zone, but we're also fortunate that the weather was actually pretty good on Sunday. So I think we counted 25,000 steps walking the windy city. That wasn't that windy, and it was actually almost clear sky. So also taking it to some of the high rises, you could really see and take in a very magnificent city, and I think it's growing on every one of us as a outstanding city here in the US.
Yeah, it's a really pretty place. I can vouch for that. And Sunday night we also went to see the Chicago Bulls play the worst game ever. I think they lost like a millennial game number. So whatever, we had a good time. It was definitely an experience, but unfortunately they didn't do that well. So
okay, I'm happy you have also been able to enjoy your time over there. So if we kind of switch the focus until Ignite, well, I don't know, where should we even start? Is it the keynote, or what happened before the keynote? Or?
Yeah, no, I don't know how many of our viewers had seen the keynote, but I think that this is also just to relay our personal experience with Ignite, right? And I think the thing that maybe stands out and is almost on a frustrating level is that at any given time, there are so many sessions going on, so much information being presented, so many good sessions to go. I think I created a screen dump just yesterday where showing this that I was trying to zoom in, and I think got just a couple of hours, and it showed me, you have 200 sessions to pick from, and it's just like, so to which one to go to. So I think also what you get out of the conference and being here in person is also very much up to you, because you could just go to sessions, but hey, maybe that you could also just do from back home, seeing many of the sessions are online and at least recorded, so you can see them afterwards. So it's very much also about the networking part, engaging, asking questions. This year, I've actually prioritized to go to these lab sessions. So they in most cases are 1 hour and 15 minutes. They do a short presentation, and then you have really hands-on. Again, that is something you could do back at home. What you cannot do at home is there are a lot of proctors in the room. So it's just about asking questions, because these are not just the traditional trainers. These are in most cases the people actually building the software. So they know a thing or two, and can sometimes also speak a bit to why is it in this way, why I'm seeing this quirk, and how are they going to address that in the future.
Yeah, I think I'm going to highlight definitely the meeting people part, because there's a lot of people to be met, of course, obviously. There's thousands of them. But yesterday on the bus, I sat beside a SharePoint specialist from Microsoft, and we had a little chat about a problem that we're seeing currently in Denmark with one of our projects that we're making. And it was just kind of a coincidence that he was there in the shuttle bus, and we had like a small chat. And obviously I connected with him on LinkedIn, and I've been very eager to do that with everybody that I've had a discussion with, also to be able to continue the discussion once I'm back home. So that's also quite extraordinary, I think, that you can meet them in person. Yeah.
It's in many ways it's a small and well connected world. You, Henrik, mentioned, of course, that everyone is able to see the sessions, and I have seen the keynote session here from Denmark. I think it's a good production, it's a good experience, but it's not the same thing. I've also seen a few other sessions, and I have my Outlook calendar full of things that is to be digested on demand. One of the things I heard a lot of times in the keynote and on Twitter, X, the last few days, is this word agents.
Yeah.
But do you have an impression? What's a first take on this? Yeah.
No, I mean, yes, and actually we were just last night preparing for this session. We had a small group discussion with some of our colleagues, and it was pretty obvious that at this point everything is still so new. So we actually also discussed, so what does it really mean when they say agent? And is an agent wrapping the co-pilots, or the co-pilots wrapping the agents, or is it the same? Or I think what triggered me as a good example of what is that Microsoft is trying to achieve with the agents is this very available agent that you will see in SharePoint going forward. So you can go to any SharePoint site, and suddenly you will have this small agent, as they call it there, and that means that it is for the single purpose of helping you speak with your content in that SharePoint site. The funny part about it is that I think that was one of the very early requests we started to get from customers. Can we do a Copilot style chat with our documents in SharePoint? And to be honest, we tried to achieve that in many ways. Now it's coming as something built in, and we should learn to say it's an agent.
Yeah.
I agree. We had like this discussion about what is really an agent, and I went to a session yesterday where they also tried to wrap the terminology. So an agent would be kind of, it's a way of looking at models meeting actions, meeting knowledge. So what we've seen so far right now has been the chat bots that we all kind of understands how to use and how do they function. So they talk to a knowledge base, and you talk to that knowledge base basically. So that's the chatbot, and I think they want to move beyond that way of seeing a bot. So they have created this terminology agent, or it's not theirs, but they're trying to wrap some more into that wording than what we've been used to so far. So we need to think of these things as something that can do stuff. So you have your own personal, like that's the Copilot for Microsoft 365, for example. And then you have like a maybe more process focused or organizational focused agents that does stuff where you're across the organization and across the processes. Yeah. And then obviously they want to go beyond that. So they want to talk about autonomy at some point. So this is a stepping stone towards autonomy, in my perspective, at least.
Yeah. And agents, are they AI or are they AI plus, or like can we fit it into a box we already know, and then it will probably move over time? But
no, but I would. Is it fair to say yes and no? But if anything, I think also Satya Nadella phrased it like so the co-pilots are the UI of AI. And then you go like, yeah, okay, and that it really resonates with what Microsoft has been trying to say for now more than a year. And again, I think that's also a bit funny, but being here again for Ignite is it's only been 1 year, and I actually looked at my notes from 1 year ago. I feel like it's been 3 years. It's been a crazy year in terms of how far they've come and how many iterations they've already had on the feature sets. So what was a Copilot a year ago is something actually different and much more today. I believe that what we're also going to work with, and Microsoft is creating almost, I would say, multiple different tool sets to in some way achieve the same goal, but in different ways. And what I mean by that is that we both see them developing tools for doing low code, no code, co-pilots and agents, but they also realize that we really need the hardcore coding sometimes to, for instance, achieve connections to legacy systems that have more traditional APIs you can use to retrieve content. But it will all come together in the Copilot workspace, so to speak, giving our end users the same experience. And they don't know when the Copilot is answering grounded in your content, if it's coming from your ERP system or it's just a document library in SharePoint.
Maybe we can, as, I don't know, simple end users be liberated from technology, just talk to an agent and then get on with our business. And again, thinking about these new concepts and then really taking it in, we talked about it yesterday also that, okay, we came from the keyboard typing, reading on the screen, to we got some touch input to now, with the co-pilots and its ability to also understand what we're saying, it's actually reasonable to say that we will be able to instruct and coordinate and control what's being done just by speaking. But that's very interesting. All right. Thank you for enlightening me and us on this new friend we have in the agents. I am sure we will talk a lot about this for the coming years.
For sure.
And now we already started doing it. Yeah. Henrik, you mentioned where you were a year ago. And now I would like to ask you to look into the future. You are standing maybe on one of the places in the IT world where there is most buzz during this week. So help me and the audience to try to understand where are we, say, in a year or two from now in this co-pilot area or world. And I know you cannot promise anything, maybe not even the top product owners in Microsoft can answer this, even if they knew. But what do you see?
I think cut it short here. This can only haunt me from years to come. No, actually, a bit funny. I saw a session with one of my gurus in this industry and with Microsoft called Mark Rosinovich, and he actually had somewhat the same question. And the attendee asked him, "Where are we at in 5 years?" And as Mark put it, okay, if I could answer that question, no, but I think we see some contours of what are we at least struggling with now? What is that we are not able to achieve? And I think that the speak over here and small sentences also what the Microsoft people are saying is that we still have a lot of companies that haven't adopted this yet. They haven't even taken the first steps. They did, so to speak, the obvious steps. But we also see that a lot of companies, even though they have taken the first step, they're still in this proof of concept. They're not really doing it. They're not really changing the way they work and doing the more broad rollout. I also see people speaking a bit about some of the concerns that are still around the AIs. As Mark put it, it's by design that it makes up stuff. So how is it that we control it and ensures that if we create an agent and it goes and operates on our behalf, that it is actually doing what we're expecting it to do. It's not just ingesting things. That how do we you could almost say it's maybe we need to invent some new frameworks to do that. Again, it was part of our discussion last night. It's kind of as one of our engineers put it. It's kind of like you're writing some code and then you write some tests to test your code, right? Maybe we need a similar thinking around this and a framework for so that when we develop these things and set them up, that is built in, that is part of what we're doing. We always think about this is what its primary purpose, and then we have maybe another agent checking that it is actually doing what we expect it to do. I know it sounds a bit funny, but I think it has some resonance to it.
I actually agree. I can also say a year ago, it's more easy to look into the past. So I take that stance. A year ago, there was a lot of talk on ethics. And that has kind of not disappeared, but now we are talking more about security. Maybe it's more easy to measure, to buy into a project or ask your IT to do it. Sorry for being a bit ignorant here, but the ethics part, maybe that is the framework, like if we could say the mentality or the way of thinking. We need to develop that together in a dialogue. What about you, Pernille? This is being recorded. It will forever haunt you. But do you dare to say a bit on what you see in the future? You are welcome to put it in vague terms.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously I agree with Henrik. There's an adoption thing going on here that's maybe, in my perspective, creating a bit of a gap. So one of the other things that we need to adjust to is not just learning how to use some of these tools or some of these products coming out of Microsoft. We actually need to speed up our learning, because they're really speeding up, and they're already gaining some of the productivity gains, especially on their developer side, which means that they can really produce millions of lines of code in a very short amount of time, which means that they're pushing new features very, very fast. And like you just said, Henrik, that's also why we've seen that they've moved so far within a year. You say it feels like 3 years. Well, it does, because they really pushed it so much so fast that it's hard for just regular people to keep up with everything that's happening. So what we could see in a year is maybe more of a gap than what we're seeing right now. Right now, everybody is a little bit in the same boat. At some point, somebody is going to leave that rowboat and get in a speedboat or whatever kind of. So I think that we're going to see the contours of a gap more and more.
And maybe, I don't know, if there are any viewers who haven't kind of taken the first steps towards AI, maybe it's about to be now. If you're not not to be abandoned on the station, or like everyone is.
You're completely right. Something that's become clear to me here is actually also that just in the audience at Ignite, we're on different levels of understanding. So if you're in a session, sometimes they talk about things where I'm like, we know that. Now we need to move up beyond that. But I know that there's also like 500 people in the room, and they might be on different levels. So everybody everywhere needs to at least learn about the consequences of AI in their own area, to be able to grasp what's coming in the future, I think.
I would say a statement I see more and more often, not just at Ignite, but also in communications and the social media, is that you shouldn't fear the AI will be replacing you, but what will be replacing you is the person using AI. So everyone needs to adopt it in their own way and fit for purpose in terms of what we're doing. There are some, again, what's the idea about the agents? I think it's also, as they put it, that we have so many tedious tasks, repetitive tasks that everyone is doing, and it goes across all industries, that we have these things that are just being done because we need to do it, and that can really be automated and maybe prepared by an agent instead going into the future. And that is, if one thing I will predict is coming in the next years, this is a huge adoption of that thinking, so to speak.
Yeah, and the good thing about that is that you don't have to buy necessarily the product Copilot for Microsoft 365. You can also start from a different angle. That's the thing that we're also seeing now a lot with the studio, or with the Azure AI Foundry, as it's called now, that you can actually start building your own kind of agents, if that's the place that you prefer to start, and not giving everybody a license to play with themselves. It's kind of up to the businesses.
I think this is a very interesting topic, and this is also a dialogue that is not stopping here, but will go on for the next 5, 8, 10 years. Who knows? At least, let's say this is only the beginning, or a chapter in a book that is about to be written. Then I have like a question that is more open for your own ways of answering. But what is each of your favorite topic you have learned, or experience you have gained, or like can each of you highlight a personal favorite? It can be anything from something in Azure to basketball, or maybe somewhere in between. Like what is the key thing you will take with you?
No, I mean, I think from a topic perspective, I would actually just circle back to also the keynote, that everything was about AI and speaking to the co-pilots and a lot of new terms and things we should think about. And then you saw this one drawing showing all this, and then the framing was security. And I think that is important. It's not just from the perspective of, we need to be secure, but the thinking about security and the understanding that we are, so to speak, under attack, and every industry, every company, no matter what size, are under attack, and how also the AI can support us in protecting ourselves and be smarter about it. I think that is a key takeaway for me, that I will try to dive deeper on when coming home. What do we translate this into? It's of course also about security around the actual uses of the AI, as we spoke about also just before. That is not going rogue on us or being faulty in any ways.
Yeah.
You Pernille?
Yeah, so what I noticed or liked a lot from, especially also the keynote, but also from a lot of the other sessions that I've been participating in, is this Azure AI Foundry new concept. It's not that new, it's a kind of a wrapper of existing functionality, you might say, within the AI realm, but it's new in a way of looking at it. So just looking at it as a kind of leveled approach to AI and having everything that you need all in one, because the Foundry actually addresses a lot of the things that you would need to address when you take control of building your own AI solutions or stuff like that. And have another one that I thought was good for you, Lasse, because you're like the Microsoft 365 kind of guy. So yesterday I went to a session about translation in real time. So what you're going to see in Teams is like everybody speaking their own language, but it's your native language that you will receive. And I really like that a lot. So I think that's going to break down a lot of cultural barriers and be great for teams also.
Yeah. I kind of saw that session as well, and I'm so much looking forward to it. And I think the agent's name was Interpreter, and then I thought, okay, maybe a new feature that kind of fits into a certain thing is called an agent in the future, amongst other things.
Who needs to learn foreign languages anymore?
Yeah.
Maybe next year's live broadcast will just be in our native tongue, and then people can decide on how or what language we're speaking, so to speak. That could be.
Maybe we should make sure that is recorded and see how ambitious we can be. All right. It has been a good 27 minutes. I know the Ignite schedule, and it's not even over. You still have more than a day's left of sessions and talks, etc. What do you hope, or what have you marked in your calendar for the coming 24 hours?
I'm continuing some lab stuff. Yesterday I had a session on these declarative co-pilots, as they call it. Today, in 2 hours, I'm following up with on the custom co-pilots and how these things work together, how you work with it. But otherwise, again, I'm, as the CTO of the company, representing one profile. Pernille's AI lead is representing other stuff, but there's so many things also on the technical side. So a lot of our colleagues are also seeking out on what is it about these the new version of the Windows Server coming out. We see the talks of quantum computing. It's been there for years. I was actually thinking about it. I think it was at least pre-COVID that they rolled something on stage showing that this is the quantum computer. Now it's coming, but it is still also with quantum computing. I think iterative and small steps, small improvements, but also a talk on that it's under uprise. It's coming. So yeah, I'm seeking more on that, and then again being here in person today, and I will definitely also walk the expo hall, trying to find some Microsoft experts. We have some tough questions to address to them.
Yeah, and for my part, actually, one of the first things I'm going to do this morning is actually looking at this gap and how we can maybe close the gap I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to a fast track adoption session of AI. So seeing how we can get the enterprises moving this agenda forward in a speedier pace, maybe. We'll see.
Beyond the proof of concepts.
Beyond the proof of concepts, obviously.
I'm really happy for your days, and I'm happy that you share your experiences, sites, learnings with us here. I know there's been a huge crowd in primarily North and Western Europe, so thank you for that, Henrik and Pernille. Enjoy your day, and then see you in a year from now where we snakker dansk, and maybe it's also translated.
That's a promise.
Enjoy the rest of Ignite, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.